Hey there, Clashers, welcome back. Today we are going to take a look at some of the best ways to farm up resources in Clash of Clans. Hey everyone, so I took a bit of an unintentional break from making videos for Clash of Clans. Real life got a little bit crazy there, but I'm back and I'm ready to get back on track with this. And today's topic is something that's actually something people have been asking me about a couple of times here and there is what's the best way to farm resources? And to be honest, there are a lot of answers to this question. So the point of this video is going to be to take a look at some different farming methods and hopefully give you guys an idea of what those are and how effective they are. And we'll talk about some different things like different armies, different leagues to farm in, because a lot of farming has to do with personal preference. And there are a lot of different ways to farm effectively. So we're going to look at what are my top 5 farming armies, and I'm also going to mention some other farming armies later on in the video as well, because like I said before, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So quickly before we jump into any of these attacks or armies, I just want to mention what makes a farming army good is when you're looking at the resources that you actually need, what you're farming for, you want to make sure that you are getting back more from the attack than what you actually spent on the army. So as long as you're not losing resources on spending too much on your army, then you're pretty much good. But ideally you want to maximize that profit. You want to get back way more than what you're spending, so the bigger the profit you can get there, the better. But I mean, as long as you're making a profit, if you're fine with doing more attacks to get what you need, then you're good to go. So let's take a look. We'll kind of look at what the profit differences are on these different armies as we go along as well. To kick things off, we are going to look at the first armies, which if we're looking at the top 5, we're going to start at number 5. My least favorite personally, but other people like to farm in low trophy range, and we're going to be looking at basically low trophy range armies. So I'm kind of lumping these first 3 armies into basically one army because ideally they all do the same thing. The differences are how you use them and the resources that you spend to make the armies. So as you can see here, the Goblins and the BAM, which is Barbs, Archers, and Minions, they have the same Elixir cost, but obviously the one with the Minions, it also has a Dark Elixir cost. So that one is more expensive because you're spending Dark Elixir, but it is a little more versatile because you have the Minions in there, and they can reach some things that ground troops can't reach. And then of course you've got the Barch, which is just Barbs and Archers, and they have about double the resource cost, so that is what makes them my least favorite, but some people like them as their preference. So I mean, if you like Barbarians and Archers more than Goblins, then by all means go ahead and go for it. 104,000 Elixir really isn't that big of a deal, especially, well, really at any level. So there are the costs for that. And of course, these army comps aren't necessarily set in stone. You can mess around with them, change the troop numbers, use what works best for you, and just do a couple of attacks, you'll figure it out. Sometimes you can add some spells, make things a little bit easier. You can add some giants to the Barch army to make give you some tanking troops. Same thing with the BAM. Goblins, I don't necessarily recommend adding giants, and we'll see when we take a look at that. Basically, what you're doing with the Goblins is just targeting the resource collectors on the outside directly. So we're going to run through some of these attacks very quickly just to see down here at the low leagues, and by low league I mean like Crystal 3 and lower. We're going to run through some attacks real quick. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we want to see how much loot I'm finding, how hard is it to find, and how hard is it to make a profit on these armies. So I've got the Barbarians and Archers cooked up first, and then we got the BAM, and then we'll follow that up with a Goblin army. I'm not bringing any spells, and I'm not bringing anything in the CC. I do have my heroes, so that'll be what we're using. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, let's find a match here. So right off the bat here, I had, what was it, 104,000, something like that, in Elixir cost. What we have is over 400,000, so we can easily make that Elixir back. And it looks like everything is pretty much on the outside. We got all of the elixir collectors and gold mines on the outside. Looks like the dark drills are tucked in just a little bit, but that's not really going to be a problem. So what you really want to do with the barch, you just send in some barbarians. They're going to tank for the archers, and there you go. You just send them in like that, a little bit at a time. You don't want to dump everything at once, because you want to make sure that you're actually getting what you came in to get. So there we go. We're going to let this stuff kind of die down a little bit, see what's left after it's all done, and see where we need to send the next batch of troops. Alright, so we're getting everything along the outsides, it looks like. Are there more collectors on the inside? Because it looks like there's still quite a bit left. You can see here there is some in the storages, so that's probably what's left there. We have a drill there and a drill there. Let's go ahead and use the queen to take that drill. And then we're going to send... Where are the gold? Okay, so there's one up there. We can go ahead and send another little group of troops there. Try and get some of that gold. And then we're going to send the entire rest of the army down here at the other side. And then just basically to see what we can get down there. So we'll send in a line of those little fellers. Send in the king, the warden, because I have them. If you don't have the heroes in your raids because they're upgrading, it's no big deal. Usually you're not even trying to get inside of the base like I am here. I'm actually going to send some up here. So I missed a gold mine, and we do want to make sure we get that drill taken down. Let's see. Once they get inside that wall, I want to go ahead and we'll hit that. I saw the mortar shot coming in. I'm going to try and get these guys in there to get that those gold mines. And of course, trophies don't matter. It doesn't matter if you lose the attack or win the attack. As long as you get your loot, that's all that matters. So it looks like we did hit that. We're going to go ahead and skip to the end from here and see what we get. Okay, so this is what we ended up with out of that raid. Let's go ahead and get the other army going. So let's see how long it takes to find another one. Let's go back real quick just to see these army costs. So it was 104,000 on the barch. We easily cleared that. Now we have 52,000 on Elixir and just under 600 on Dark Elixir. I think we can clear that pretty easily. Let's see how long it takes to find a match. Okay, so this is the third base I clicked. The last attack we did was on the very first try, so it's not taking long to find these bases that have a lot of the loot just around the outside of the base. And that's ideal for these first three armies that we're looking at. Let's go ahead and take a look here. It's pretty much the same thing. You're going to send some barbs, some archers, and then behind the archers you can send some minions. But don't try and send too many of them, because you can also use them around the outside. You can pick off stuff that would be in range of like just a cannon or something like that. So we got those down. And then you basically got the idea, so I'm going to finish up this raid and let's check it out on the back end. Okay, so here we are. We ended up with 436,000 on the Elixir and then 1,800 on the Dark Elixir, so pretty good profits there. Alright, one more look to see how easy it is to make a profit down here at the lower leagues, and then we will move up to the higher attacks. Okay, so this was base number 4. You can see this is ideal, especially for goblins. We've got all of the collectors are full and right around the outside of base. So with goblins, it's pretty obvious. You just want to sprinkle them in and target the collectors. Try not to sprinkle them in too fast, because you do want to make sure you have enough goblins to go around. So I'm going to sprinkle these goblins in, and then we will jump to the end of the replay from here. Alright, so we're going to wrap it up here. I only used 85 of my goblins, and you can see on the screen here what the profit was. It wasn't huge on Dark Elixir, but we also didn't have any Dark Elixir expense, so 675 is all profit. If we were using the Barbarians, Archers, and Minions army, we would have only gained about 75 Dark Elixir on that. Maybe a little bit more, because I think it was just under 600. But still, this is why when you're down at the lower leagues, personally, goblins are my favorite to go to. And it's really easy. You can make a profit. You can train them up really fast. Don't worry about spells, CC. Don't even worry about heroes. I didn't drop my heroes at all in this raid, and I got 100% of the loot. So these next two armies we're going to take a look at are really great, because they can be super effective either at high league levels or low league levels, it doesn't really matter. The difference really comes where, like, if you're in a higher league level, like, I mean, I'm in about a middle right now on this account in Crystal 1, but say you're in Masters, Champions, or so on, you can still use these armies, but you're going to want to invest more spells. You will make sure you have your heroes up and your CC full to make sure the army's still going to be just as effective on those heavier bases. Plus, you're probably going to be diving into the base more often up there. At the lower league level, you can use these troops with much less investment. You don't need the spells, you don't really need the heroes or the CC, but the heroes and CC, they're not really an investment, but if you have them upgrading, then maybe lower leagues is where you want to be. So what troops am I talking about? Glad you asked. Next up, I'm going to be talking about the Sneaky Goblins and the Miners. The Sneaky Goblins are probably one of my top favorite farming troops since the Super Troops were released. And they're a lot like the regular Goblins, except they're a lot stronger. And then of course Miners have been a great farming troop since they've been released as well. You could see some of the different comps I have here and what the costs are, and once again you can alter these army comps to whatever suits you personally. So I've got the mass Sneaky Goblin army. I did throw a couple of jumps in there, so that does make it a little more expensive, but it helps to get the goblins a bit deeper into the base, especially since they have that sneaky ability. It makes it a lot easier to get into the base and get the storages. For the miners, we have just a flat out miner spam army at the top. It's a little under 300,000. And then my personal favorite for miners, I've got the Queen Charge there in the middle, and then under that is like a miner spam, so right here down at the bottom I have a couple of Yetis in there to funnel, and then I have the spell investment there to get the triple. So once again, we're going to take a quick look at these attacks and kind of compare what I get out of the raid and see what the profits are on these hits. Let's see what we can find. This is literally the first base that popped up. We do have the Elixir around the outside, so I can use this. I don't need to use all of my Sneaky Goblins, and I also don't need to use the jump spells. So one tip for dropping the Sneaky Goblins when you're dropping them on the collectors is you can drop 2 Sneaky Goblins. They will take out any of the collectors before their sneaky ability wears off. So you don't have to invest more than 2 Sneaky Goblins per collector, and you can see there I actually got 2 collectors with 2 Sneaky Goblins, so it works out. Actually, you might be able to just get 1 collector with 1 Sneaky Goblin, so that reduces the investment even more. So yeah, I was a bit wrong there. So 1 Sneaky Goblin per collector, and that's going to get you all of the loot. So when you have a base like this, just drop 1 Sneaky Goblin on each collector, get all of the loot out of the collectors, and leave the attack. So what do we have left? Looks like there's a little bit of Elixir there, not going to worry about that. What I want to look at right here are the Dark Elixir drills. So there's 1 up there and 1 over here. Question is, do I want to invest the jump spells to get that Dark Elixir? And at this point, that would be dependent on what resource do I need. Do I actually need Elixir, or do I need Dark Elixir? Do I need both? If I need both, I would probably say just go ahead and bail out on the attack and try and get Dark Elixir on a different base. One that you're not going to have to spend as much Elixir on. Because as you can see here, I only got 203,000 Elixir, so you don't really want to spend the jumps if you need Elixir. Now, if I didn't need Elixir, then obviously the cost of the jumps doesn't matter at all. Get in there and get that Dark Elixir. So we'll do 1 more with the Sneaky Goblins, and then we will switch it up and go for miners. Okay, so this is the first base that I found here, and it's a little more interesting. So we don't have all of the loot outside in these collectors, but we are going to go ahead and take them out for the sake of goblin pathing. So 1 goblin per collector all the way around the outside, and then we're going to turn our focus on the storages inside the base. So I'm actually going to use my queen up here. She's going to pick off that Elixir storage, so we don't have to worry about that with the goblins. You want to use the jumps in a way where you can get most of this stuff without having to try and burrow through a wall with the goblins. So if I overlap these 2 compartments here with the jump spell, I can send in... Oh, I forgot that gold mine there. Okay, now they'll go in. They'll go for that gold storage first. I didn't even realize the Dark Elixir drills were there. It looks like we have some CC troops coming out to deal with, which that could be a little bit of trouble. Actually, I can put the king up here and distract those once these goblins die. Alright. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish off that gold. Just send in a bunch of sneaky goblins. They should be able to wrap that up, because I think the jump spell is going to wear off soon. Okay, they got the Dark Elixir. Looks like they're going to get the gold as well. There we go. So when you need to get some Elixir or whatever storage down in a hurry, just send in a bunch of goblins and they will get it. So we have 47 still. Going to do kind of the same thing right here. Okay. Actually, I do have a Stone Slammer as well, so I can open this wall with a Stone Slammer. And then right here we'll use a jump, get that gold. Send in 5 goblins. There we go. Oh, there's still a gold mine there. So we'll send in a few more. That should have that Elixir taken care of. Send in a bunch. Actually, we can send in all the rest. We could even use the rage if we wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. Alright, so I believe we got pretty much everything. We missed Dark Elixir somewhere. It's probably in the storage. We're going to get rid of that archer and end the attack. So that's what I ended up with there. Of course, with these types of attacks, you also notice I'm not getting the loot bonus that you get when you actually win the attack. So all of the armies up to this point have been kind of mostly lose the attack, not really getting the loot bonus, but that's because you're in lower leagues anyway, so the loot bonus isn't that great. So starting with the miners, especially the Queen Charge miners and all that, you're going to be winning the attacks most of the time, so you're going to want to push up into higher leagues and getting better win bonuses. So the win bonus, I don't think is super great down here in Crystal 1. Yeah, it's really not ideal. I mean, it's okay. It's better, obviously, than the other ones, but when you get into these stronger armies, you have good incentive to push up into the higher leagues and get the loot bonus. And that also cuts down on the cost of the army, which obviously improves your profit. Okay, so we've got this Queen Charge army. We're going to look one more time at what the cost is for the resources here. So we got 428,000 Elixir and then basically no Dark Elixir cost. So this is really an ideal army for when you're not really needing Elixir. You're good to go on that and you're looking for Dark Elixir. So this is a solid army for that. If you're looking for Elixir, you're going to have a harder time, especially down here in like Crystal. You're going to have a harder time getting a profit on Elixir, and that's probably what we're going to see here in just a second. Okay, so this is the first base that pops up right away. It's actually really good on Elixir. We're still going to make a decent profit on it. The Dark Elixir is not too bad, but again, what we're spending on Dark Elixir for this is pretty low. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we're going to take this base out. We do want to get the triple with this army. That's usually the goal, so that you get the, well, you don't necessarily need the triple, but you need the 70%, so you're getting the full loot bonus. Alright, so we're going to Queen Charge somewhere. Basically what you want to do with miners is you want to get the pathing carved out. So since this is a dead base, there's not a ton of value that you need to get. We're actually going to drop a Yeti here, and then I've got wall breaks here. We'll send a test wall breaker in. No mines or anything there. Send in the Queen. A few more wall breakers, get that opened up. And then once the Yeti goes down, we can send in the healers. Actually, I need to go ahead and send them in now. Alright, so we got quite a bit opened up with the wall breakers, not necessarily intentionally there. So we're going to send the king in. I'm not going to use the siege barracks. I don't think I need to, since this is a dead base. So let's go ahead and drop the rage there. So the queen's good to go. Put a wizard in behind the king. Need to put this guy back on ground, and then let the queen do just a little bit more, get some stuff funneled out, and then right about the 2-minute mark, we'll go ahead and start sending in the miners. So there we go. Go ahead and get them in, spam them in, full send. Drop a heal right here. And we probably don't even need to use all the spells because this is a dead base. And the town hall's not even maxed out, so it doesn't have the explosion that you usually have to worry about. Another thing is with miners, as long as there aren't any skeletons or nearby buildings that they quickly hop to, they will dodge down under the explosion on a maxed out Town Hall 12 or any Town Hall 13. So that's something else to keep in mind when you're farming using your warden ability with the miners. And I mean, this is going strong enough. I'm not going to drop anything else. We'll go ahead and hit the warden's ability there, and this is going to be a triple. So we'll go ahead and just wait from here, and we'll see what comes up at the end of the raid. So there you go. I actually saved some elixir. I only dropped a rage into heal. Didn't have to spend my CC troops, and we got quite a bit gold elixir and a good bit of dark elixir as well. Actually, it looks like about 2,000 with the loot bonus. Okay, so here we have a minor attack. We do have spells, but no queen charge. And then as soon as the king is awake, we will jump into another raid. So again, first base here, we've got quite a bit of loot, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at hitting this one. So what I want to do is carve out pathing. First of all, I want to see where is all of the loot. And it looks like it's all mainly concentrated right here. I do see the dark elixir drills down here, so that's where I'm going to focus on my funnel. Let's see, we'll go ahead and drop the king. And then I'm going to drop... I can probably just drop a Yeti down here. Oops, did I not select a Yeti? There we go. We want to make sure we get some of that stuff taken down. The king needs to work back in. I may have to drop the queen down there to help out with that. We'll drop a sneaky goblin. The king is going to go up. I probably shouldn't have dropped the goblin. Okay, so I'm going to drop the queen down here. Going to drop a Yeti over here, and then follow it up with the siege barracks. And then just full send to the miners. We do have CC troops coming out. Looks like hog riders though, so not a big deal. We'll drop a heal right there. Get another heal going right there. The miners did spread out a little bit early on, but that's kind of typical for miners. Freeze up this multi-inferno. Alright, just trying to keep a bit of an eye on where all the miners are at. Freeze up the town hall. Hit the queen's ability. I need my warden to step up. Let's hit that ability. There we go. So I think an extra heal actually would be better than having all those rages. So I'm not sure why I had so many rage spells. But it looks like I'm still pushing through pretty well here. And that's the loot that we got out of this raid. Definitely a great profit there for dark elixir. We did pretty well on elixir as well, and then of course all of the gold is pretty much profit. So one last thing before we move on to the final couple of armies here is I want to see how strong are the miners with no support. So no spells, no heroes, just miners. Okay, so this is the second base on this search. Let me try and figure out here, where is all the loot? There's a lot of it down along the bottom side. I do see there's a little bit of dark elixir. There's some of that in the storage. There are a couple of drills down here along the bottom as well. So what I'm going to do is I want to send in a couple of small groups to get kind of a funnel going. And then we're going to send more miners like this kind of spread out in between those small groups. And then I've got a wizard here that I can drop somewhere. Probably right here. It's not going to get much right there. But now we can just kind of watch and see how far the miners go without extra support. And if you want to use just miners with nothing else, I guess this is about what you can expect out of them. And they're moving through pretty well. They're all still pretty healthy in the middle of the base. So there they go, getting the dark elixir, so that's a good thing to see. I've got a lot of the elixir as well, and there's still quite a bit on the back end, but they're not going to push that far in. I would be very surprised if they did. So it looks like they pulled over to the king, a couple of ground skellies over there, everything's fizzling out. So I wasn't sure if I was going to get the town hall. I am not going to get the town hall. We're going to go ahead and end it there. And I mean, I did pretty much as well as I've been doing, but in this one I didn't spend any elixir on spells or no extra elixir on other troops, so it did pretty well for that. So if you're down around the crystal area, just using miners might be something to consider. Okay, so we've looked at armies that work well in low leagues, We've looked at a couple of armies that work well pretty much anywhere, depending on what spell investment you want to use on them. Now I want to talk about some armies that are going to work in the higher leagues. And I've also already kind of mentioned the benefits of being in the higher leagues, mainly getting that loot bonus and having the freedom to use pretty much whatever army you want. And by high leagues, I mean like from Champion 3 is like at the bottom end of the higher leagues, up to Legends League. Now Legends League is a bit special. If you're Town Hall 13, I definitely recommend hanging out in Legends League and farming. Even if you just hang out in the bottom end of Legends League, like stay around that 5,000, 5,100 trophy range, it's a great spot to be because you get your 8 attacks a day, you get great loot out of that. We'll actually pop over to my other account really quickly. Okay, so I popped over to my Legends account for a minute, and you can look at my attack log here and get an idea of what kind of loot is actually available at Legends. So this is around 5,000 trophies. I don't push too high because I miss a lot of attacks, but if you even wanted to push higher into Legends, like 5,500 or so, the loot does get better as well from my understanding. I don't spend much time up there, so I don't know firsthand, but that is what I've been told. But you can see here the loot's pretty decent. You get 8 of those attacks a day, and as long as you're hitting like 50% of the base or more, you're going to get most of the loot that's available. And of course, if you can hit the triples, which is a lot easier to do around 5,000 trophies, then you can get pretty good loot from each attack. So back over to the other account really quickly. And like I said earlier, when you're up in these upper leagues and you have the big loot bonus, you can use pretty much any army you want. So whatever war army you want to practice, I always recommend doing that. Of course, if you don't want to do like a war army, you can just spam in dragons or e-dragons. That is a great way to go into these bases and take a bunch of the loot because it's easy to get like 70% with those armies. Of course, miners still work really well if you want to do queen charge miners. You can use it to practice hogs, hybrid. Of course, going back to what loot you need, if you need dark elixir, you can get much larger profits by using elixir heavy armies like e-drags, dragons, miners. Probably not going to be using sneaky goblins up here, but I guess it is possible. So stuff like that is what you want to keep in mind. If you do get your dark elixir stuff upgraded before your elixir's done, then you can focus on dark elixir heavy armies like the hogs. You could even do like bow witch or whatever. Yeti Smash is another elixir heavy army that you can use up in these higher leagues. That is a really easy way to smash through a base, get 70% or better pretty much every time, and get all of the loot. So I want to jump into 1 or 2 quick attacks here. I'm running Lalo because I like to practice just the balloon pathing. Now, using farming attacks is not a great way to practice like a full-on war attack, but it's a good way to practice certain parts of an attack. Like if you want to practice just queen charges, a decent way to do that is through farming attacks. Of course, you still want to do friendly challenges and actual war attacks, but the other thing is, like I said, I like to practice the balloon pathing, so I do a lot of farming attacks with balloons. Now with all that being said, I'm in Champions 1. I believe I have a full CC ready to go, so it's not max, but that's fine. We're going to jump into a raid, see what we get, and see how much of it we can pull out of the base. Okay, so this is the 3rd base. It's not very good on gold, but it's got really good elixir and dark elixir, so that's usually what I look for, and that's what we're going to hit here. Now I do have Zap Lalo trained up, and it looks like I can take out the CC and an Inferno Tower. So that is what we're going to do. I can take out a Sweeper as well, and then I can just use my heroes. I might be able to push in for the Eagle, but I don't know, we'll see. So let's go ahead and zap this. So we're going to drop 2 right there, and then 5 right there. We got the Sweeper out of the way, got the Inferno out of the way. Did not activate the Town Hall, so that's good. Yeah, let's go ahead and push in. I'm going to drop the King here. He's going to work back. And then I'm going to drop my Baby Dragon here. Not sure why I have 3 Baby Dragons. It's a little bit weird. Drop the Ice Golem. There's a Mini Bomb. It apparently wasn't a high level mini bomb. Alright, so we got that opened up. Actually, we got too much opened up. Hopefully my queen can go in straight and hit the king's ability. I can actually send my RC to get the... Let's see. Can she get the eagle? No, she's going to path away, but my queen is going to get the eagle. Okay. That works fine. Hit her ability there. Eagle is down. The pathing is not really ideal. Actually, it's not bad. I can go this way. She's going to take down that air defense. So that actually does make things a little more complicated. Switch to the blimp. Let's go this way instead because the queen... Oh, my RC just took out the other air defense. They really want this to be difficult pathing for me. There we go. We're going to haste those guys in. Blimp behind. Send in the headhunters. Warden ability. Other hound and a bunch more balloons. Rage right there. Haste. And then where do I need this last haste? Let's see. I don't know that I do. We're going to drop it right there though. Baby dragons for cleanup, and we got the triple, so that's pretty easy. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump to the end of this raid. Alright, so there we are. We got all of the loot, obviously, and then we got that loot bonus, and that basically ensures that we're not losing any resources on the army. And apparently I have completed a clan game challenge. I didn't even realize one was going on. But we're going to grab another CC and then jump into one last attack before I wrap up this video, just to basically see what kind of loot I'm finding in Champions 1. Okay, so it was a bit of a longer search this time. This was the 5th base, but I mean, overall it's not too bad. So let's see, we've got the Zaplalo again. Alright, let's see what we're going to do. I'm actually going to ignore the CC this time. I can drop a blue and see if there's anything in it that's going to target air, and there's not anything there. I should have waited and grabbed the queen. So what I'm going to do then is start my Sui. Keep an eye on the queen. She will work back around. The king will work back in. Alright, the king's on her way back in. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with that wall breaker there. I still didn't get her down. That's unfortunate. But that's really not a big deal. These wall breakers are useless, so I'm just going to get rid of them out of the camp. There we go, hit the queen's ability. The headhunter should finish off the queen. Oh, she got the headhunter down. That's alright, queen's going down. So I got pretty clear pathing now for the Lalo. Drop that up there. I'll send the RC down towards the bottom. Go ahead and haste right here. Lava hound there. Blimp from the top. RC will go in here. Another haste right here. And then rage right there. Hopefully that warden doesn't move. Perfect. Alright, hit the warden's ability. Is there an enemy RC? I'm not seeing one. I'll save those headhunters for cleanup. So we'll drop that haste there. That was actually a bad spot. I didn't think that wizard tower was about to go down. And drop the baby dragon up there. There's one more air defense. RC ability should clean that up. And I think that's a wrap. So a few more seconds and we'll jump to the end screen. I mean, across the board, the numbers are pretty similar. The big difference for the higher trophies, if that's where you want to farm, is the loot bonus. It gives you more freedom in what armies you can use. So either, and like I said before, you're going to be doing fewer attacks. So you can do a lot more attacks down low, not get the bonus but have cheaper armies, or you can farm up high. You'll have the bonus, more army freedom, but you won't be able to do as many attacks. So that's kind of the difference between farming in high trophies versus low trophies. At the end of the day, it all works, and it may work better for different people based on lifestyle. Some people just can't do attacks back to back in a day, so it's better for them to be in the higher trophy leagues. Other people, it's better for them to do lots of attacks in a day, so they're going to be down in the lower trophies. And that's really what it all comes down to. So, if you were looking for ideas on how to farm, I hope this video helped. If you do have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below or pop into my Discord server and ask over there. The Discord server is linked down in the description below, and I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. That's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to see more Clash content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you all next time.